Hey guys, what's up? For Odds Checker, we are bringing you another episode of our college football show. Alex, Joe, how are you guys feeling?
Melissa, Joe, I'm doing fine. Started 1-2 in week 0. Missed my pick of the week, so not what we want, but it's better than 0-3. We have that going for us.
It's a comeback story.
Yeah, I'm
I'm
kind
ready for it.
kind of in the same boat. Didn't have the best week 0, but that's why we got week 1, bigger slate. So looking forward to it.
Week 0 doesn't even count, guys. We're totally fine. We are headed into week 1. I'm going to start with Alex. Alex, you are looking at 2 games. We got the Illinois game and the UNC game. I'll let you take it away.
Yeah, so Illinois visiting Indiana in Bloomington. I will start by taking the Fighting Illini. They are getting 3 points visiting the Hoosiers. I honestly don't think Illinois should be getting points at all here at a +3 or even at a +1 or 2. And I'm not going to look a gift horse in the mouth and ask too many questions about why that's happening. I think that Chase Brown, the running back for Illinois, is the best player in this game. He had a really nice performance in week 0. Remember, Illinois has already played. They already played against a kind of iffy Wyoming team and beat them up pretty good. And Illinois looked really good in that game. Chase Brown looked really good in that game. They have a few injury issues. Their number 2 running back, their slot receiver, but Brett Bielema, the head coach, sounded pretty optimistic. They had this game last week despite Tommy DeVito, the quarterback, the transfer from Syracuse, giving them pretty much nothing of note. He was like 5 yards per drop back. And Indiana, on the other hand, is just a very sad situation right now. I am hoping that we find out that 2021 was just an uncharacteristic one-year step back, but I'm not hugely optimistic about that front for Tom Allen and the Hoosiers. So despite this game being in Bloomington, I'm feeling pretty good about getting points for pretty much any Power 5 team right now against Indiana. Maybe not quite any. I don't know that I would do it for Kansas or Vanderbilt, but I'm feeling pretty good about it in Illinois' case. I'm also going to the state of the wonderful state, the state that I love to visit, of North Carolina, and I'm taking the Tar Heels as a pick'em in this game at Appalachian State. We know pretty little about UNC, but we did see them in week 0 against Florida A&M. That's an FCS team, but it's a playoff FCS team that had a really good year last year, has a pretty nice chunk of talent on the roster. And I think that North Carolina's kind of retooled offense, new quarterback, couple of new running backs, by the way, who looked really good in this game, are going to be more on the overachieving side, especially when you compare it to what we saw with North Carolina last year, which was maybe the ultimate underachiever, at least of any team that was a preseason top 20 team. I think that the pendulum might swing in the other direction this year. I like App State a lot. I love Boone, been to Boone a bunch of times. It's a tough place for UNC to go. I'm not sure what they were thinking scheduling a game there on the road. I don't think it was a good idea for UNC to be playing this game. But I do think that App State has significant roster turnover. About half their starters are gone. It's just a significant opportunity for App State to maybe be kind of sloppy, as much as I respect that program and Sean Clark, their head coach. And I think UNC does have the talent advantage. So in a straight pick 'em, I feel pretty good about getting the more talented team. And I think that's North Carolina. So those are my 2 before we do picks of the week.
All right. I mean, I love getting points with Illinois, so you've got me there. Joe, we are looking at 2 games yourself. Cincinnati, whom I know very well, and you got a Texas State game too. Let's just take it away.
Yeah, one of the first games I'm looking at this week is going to be Texas State +3.5. They face a Nevada team who is retooling a lot on offense. They lost Carson Strong, one of the best quarterbacks at a mid-major team in the nation. They lost Romeo Dubs, who was a really good receiver last year. And they really just did not impress me at all in week 0. I didn't really know what to expect from them with this new offense. They faced a New Mexico State squad who's not really that great of a team, not really a powerhouse defense.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Illingsworth, who was transfer from Oklahoma State, who I actually really liked at Oklahoma State when he got time. He looked terrible. I don't think you can describe it in any other way. He barely topped 60 yards. They didn't really pass the ball that much. The offense looked really anemic. And now they have to face a Texas State squad who has Lane Hatcher at quarterback, who has really been productive in all of his years in college. He was actually in a very odd situation at Arkansas State where he shared the quarterback position with Logan Bonner, who's now at Utah State. So his stats would be a lot better if he was the only quarterback. So I expect Texas State to go into Nevada and win this game. And to get 3.5 points, I think is a lot of value. And then the second game I'm looking at this week is the Cincinnati and Arkansas under at 52. Cincinnati was the story of the year last year. They had a really good team, really good defense, but they lose Desmond Ridder. They lose their running back in Ford. They lose Alec Pierce at the wideout position. So they lose a lot of continuity on offense, but their defense really doesn't lose a ton other than Sauce Gardner. So I really think this game is going to be a low-scoring, grinded-out type game, almost like the type of game that we saw where Cincinnati played Alabama in the playoff, where it was 27-6. I had this game graded kind of right around the line at like a 23-17 or like a 24-20 type game, somewhere in there. So I think getting a total over 50 is a little too high here, so I'm going to roll with the under.
All right. Well, they do say life is too short to bet the under. I'm hoping they're wrong this time, Joe.
I'm a big unders guy. So
I'm excited to find out this season. With that being said, I do want to make it clear Nevada did cover the spread last week. Just saying. Someone here might have picked it. I don't know who it was, but I'm just saying, I wouldn't brag.
No, of course not.
Anyways, guys, we are headed to my favorite segment, Picks of the Week, where you guys are going to give us your favorite play. We're going to start with Alex. He's taking on the WVU game. They're playing Pittsburgh. And this is the first time these two teams have met in almost a decade, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, no, it is. It's first time in over a decade. I mean, these teams have played 104, or I think this will be 105 times that they've played each other. It's the backyard brawl. It's a rivalry game that I grew up with. I'm from Pittsburgh. I grew up a Pitt fan.
Hey.
I try to take a little bit more impartiality into these things now, but you might not believe me because I'm going to take Pitt minus 2.5. And this has moved around. I think nowadays it's mostly it's at most books you'll see it more at -7 as we record this, but we'll see where it ultimately settles. I think at either number. I mean, obviously you'd rather be at 6.5 than 7. I feel pretty good about Pitt in this game. I think there's a lot that you don't know in a week one environment, no matter what's happening. But I think we have a pretty decent sense of what Pitt is going to look like. It's going to be a punishing, very frustrating defense to play against. That's kind of how it always is with a Pat Narduzzi and Randy Bates defense. Kalijah Cansey, the defensive tackle for Pitt, one of the best players in the country this year. I think he's going to be a first-team All-American. I'm also pretty sure that I'm a believer in the Pitt offense, even with a significant bit of turnover. Kenny Pickett, the quarterback, NFL now. Jordan Addison, the wide receiver. Biletnikoff winner, transferred to USC. The coordinator, Mark Whipple, is at Nebraska. Yes. But Pitt has talent here. Keaton Slovis, the former USC quarterback, funny enough, is going to be playing against JT Daniels, another former USC quarterback. I think that Pitt's offense probably keeps humming. I think maybe they're a little bit more run-oriented with Izzy Abanikanda than they were last year. And I think that West Virginia is, probably a fringy bowl team again, as they've been in Neil Brown's last couple of seasons there. But I don't see a particularly explosive offense. I don't see a lockdown defense by any stretch of the imagination. And I see this game being played in Pittsburgh on the North Shore at the recently renamed stadium that is hard to pronounce. I expect that Pitt on a neutral field, I would like them as about a 6-point favorite against West Virginia right now going into this year. It's a home game for Pitt. They're going to get a little bit of a boost from that, you would think. And I think you have to price that in at 2 or 3 points. So I like Pitt. I think that at 6.5 or even 7, I just think that this is a good value opportunity. And it's on Thursday night, so you get a chance to start the week with a bit of a bang.
All right. Well, I love it. I mean, we got a Pittsburgh native who's taking Pitt. Nothing can go wrong, right?
Nothing. No, I've never been disappointed by Pitt or by picking football games. So,
all right. With that being said,
yeah.
Joe is taking on the Utah game. They are facing the Florida Gators. Guys, you do know that the Gators invented Gatorade, right?
We do.
Florida Gators. That's where Gatorade was invented, at Florida. I just learned this a few years ago, and it still blows my mind that I couldn't put it together. Gators, Gatorade, get what I'm saying?
Yeah, that was almost Huskerade too. Nebraska had a shot, but Florida got it in the end.
I think Gatorade slips off the tongue better than, what is it, Huskerade?
Yeah, a little bit.
Even though Infinite Gatorade. We are fading them this week, and we are
All
rolling
right.
the Utah Utes. I'm going on the money line. I got around -140. It's somewhere around there. But Florida just has a lot of turnover. They have a new coach in Billy Napier, who I do think is going to be a very good coach at Florida. I really liked what he did in his time at Louisiana, Lafayette. But this is a extremely tough game to have as your first game as a head coach at Florida, where there's a lot of expectations. Florida has really not played to their full. They're kind of like Nebraska in a sense, where they've just kind of underachieved over the last few years.
Mhm.
I do think Billy Napier will be successful, but he has to face a Utah squad who is coming off a season where they really just impressed everyone. I think when Cameron Rising took over as quarterback, that team escalated to a new level. They really should have won the Rose Bowl. I don't know how they lost that game. It was a kind of a demoralizing loss, but they played better than everyone expected. They bring back Cameron Rising. They have a lot of continuity on the offensive end and on the defensive end. And Anthony Richardson is really the only worry for me here. He's kind of an X factor on offense. He takes advantage of a lot of mistakes, but I like Utah to control him and contain him just because they're a very disciplined defense. They don't make a ton of mistakes. They force a lot of turnovers. And Anthony Richardson's strong suit is not his passing ability. It's really his ability to scramble, get out and run, and create plays when there's nothing there. So I think Utah will be able to contain him, and I just expect Cameron Rising to take over this game, kind of how he did the second half of the season.
It's a brutal first game for Billy Napier.
Very
That's
tough.
not what you sign up for when you take over a job like this, is to have Utah come into your house in the first week of the year.
All right. Well, I mean, if that's the case, then all odds are in favor for Joe here and our Utah team. All right, guys, give me a drum roll because I am about to give my pick of the week, which is going to be interesting. I am betting kind of against the reigning NCAA champs, Georgia. I'm taking Oregon and the points at 17.5. Now, I know Georgia, I don't know if you guys know this, was 7-3 at the spread last season when favored by double digits. But the Bulldogs have lost 15 players to the NFL this season. So we're looking at a completely new team. And Oregon's coach, Dan Lanning, is very familiar with this Georgia team as he was the defensive coordinator. Not to mention, Bo Nix is now playing for Oregon, and that Auburn quarterback, he is very familiar with their game anyway. So I think that while I do think Georgia's going to win this game, I don't see them winning by 18 points. There's no way. So I'm taking them plus 17.5, even money. What do you guys think?
I like your spirit. For me, this one's it's a no play.
No, Alex.
Either way, no, I'm not saying I'm against you. I'm just saying I'm not brave enough to play this game either direction, because I just don't know about Georgia's defense. And by I don't know about it, what I mean is they could pitch a shot. I mean, they could be great. They could be really, really good, and we just don't know it because of the turnover. I'd like to see a bit of Georgia for a week or so, maybe two, before I start making spread plays on Georgia, because I think this is an excellent team. But just in terms of like how high scoring are these games going to be, how dominant is the defense going to be, I just don't know yet. So I'd like to wait a little bit. But I love that you are just going after it aggressively, Melissa.
Week 0, I went after it. Week 1, so we'll see what happens. Georgia is still favorited, if you check your books, to win the national championship title this year too. What do you think, Joe?
Bo Nix is just such a question mark. You never really know what Bo Nix you're going to get. He does seem to play better in underdog roles like this or in big games. They call it like big game Bo Nix. Like he always seems to play good in big games and then plays like really bad against teams he's supposed to beat. That's kind of been his MO since being at Auburn. Now he's in a new spot. This line kind of seems right on. Like it seems like Georgia's going to win by 2 touchdowns or maybe 3 touchdowns. I think it's going to fall.
Let's hope it's 2.
Somewhere right between that number. I would wait to see how this line moves throughout the week. But right now, I'm kind of with Alex. I don't think I'm going to have a play on this game at the moment.
Guys, all right. Well, just have your spirits with me. I'm hoping for the best. We'll see what happens. Other than that, we conquered week 0. This is week 1. We will see. This game gets started Thursday, so we got some early games for you guys. Some of Alex's picks also start on Thursday, and then we're just rolling through the week. We will catch you guys next week, Monday. here at Odds Checker for our college football show. I'm your host, Melissa, joined by the coolest college football sharps, Alex and Joe, and we'll see you next time.